Hello, lovely friends, Oracle lovers, and tarot enthusiasts and all. I have been patiently saving and eagerly awaiting for this lovely beauty to finally get here. And it came today, and this is my first chance to try to, record and take a peek. I've only looked at the guidebook and a peek at the, what you call it, I think it has a spreadsheet. I think, yeah, like a custom power animals spreadsheet, and took the wrapping off the outside. I haven't actually looked at the cards yet. So this is The Spirit of the Animals Oracle by Judy Bergsma. And I gotta say, I've been an admirer of this lady's art for quite some time. I actually had the wheel meditation one. I can't remember the title of it. I had that one for a time, and I felt compelled to, or influenced, or just I felt that it would match better with a friend I had at the time through a intuitive group I was helping to run and participate in. So I just gave that deck to her. I found the structure of it didn't quite work for me, but I did really think the artwork of the animals in it was beautiful. And then she came out with the mystical empowerment deck, I think it was, and I thought that was gorgeous, but I wasn't really fond of the backs of those. So I'm really hoping that I really meshed well with this one. I have seen a few of the art pieces, and so far from what I have seen, including the two on the back, I'm really liking. It's almost borderless. It has just a slight darkening on the edges, and we'll look at all that. But there's certain aspects of this one that really appeal to me that hasn't been in the other ones she's participated in. One deck I have that she does have a few art pieces in is the Oracle of the Unicorns, and I love the I think she has 2 or 3 art pieces in that as part of the deck. So yeah, I've always liked her work. I haven't always liked how the systems have been set up. So I'm hoping this one works, because I would really love to have a dedicated set of hers. I've been rethinking the empowerment cards, but yeah, here we go. I've been really excited waiting for this one. Like I said, I saved up to get it, and this has a US Games, I believe, set up. And like I mentioned, I took the wrapping off, and I've looked at the book a little bit, but I actually haven't looked at the cards. I actually kind of like the it's a nice sturdy box, and interestingly, part of the little thumb area was still attached when I went to open this, but the other one was clear. So one of the nice things about this is that there's a frog on like a little fern or grass area. There is a bear on this side with a nice title here. There's a possibly an elk or a deer of some sort there. And then you have wolf on this corner. So you have animals on all sides of this deck, including the dragonfly on the cover, and then a couple of the cards on the back. So I like that it's surrounded by animals while it's in its box. Maybe other decks do that, but I just found it really highlighted things for me. I like that this is a matte finish picture. I don't mind some gloss occasionally, but I do like that this is matte. Therefore, it shows up better during videos if that's a thing that you do, right? So that's appealing. And I gotta say that I do feel the idea of the spread poster is cool, and I do feel that the artwork on this is lovely, but I find that the material that these are printed on is not very conducive for actual use. Although this art piece is gorgeous. I mean, if you're going to have it on the wall, if you actually read the description of how this works, this is just supposed to be a visual reminder while you're doing this divination. This one's a 9-card power animal spread, and it's really cool and detailed. I'm not going to try to explain it. I would suggest if you're interested to check it out. But I will say that in the description I read for this, and the artwork all over this is gorgeous. So it would be a nice piece to have set up, even just as an example of a spread on the wall, or just partially an art piece, maybe a teaching tool to teach about spreads and different parts to have included in spreads that you can create. However you want to use it, I feel it's nice, but I've agreed with a few others I've talked to that sometimes these spread posters are a little impractical in actual use, just because it's stiff. It's sometimes it doesn't lay out very well. You have to figure out how to make them work better. And I'm more of an intuitive reader, though I do flirt with some spreads. Some stay with me, and some I just try a few times and see whether or not it fits. Now, I gotta say, I do like this book. It's very nicely bound or binded with a nice division there. I like that it's pretty much matte. It's very little shine, a little bit, but not much. And I love the fonts they've used. Again, it is a US Games piece, so that's nicely labeled there. And this design on the back, let's see, here's the cards, is basically the same design that's on the back of this one, but the colors are different. And there's more of a geometric kind of spacey look to the back. Now these are sealed again. I have not looked at them yet. And the colors in the box are really cool. It's like a dark teal color between green and blue, I like that color. Excuse me. Hello, friend, whoever's hanging out back there. So I'm really liking this, and let me just talk just a bit more on this book. So there is a Lakota prayer further into the book. It's really nice. I'm just going to show it, and if you want to pause and view it, you can. It's just before you go into the meanings, and there's like a title page going into the meanings of the cards. And there's also I'm not sure if this is a prayer or just a quote from the Fool's Crow, who was a ceremonial chief of the Teton Sioux. And that is here. And it's a quote. And it's really lovely fonts, nice division of stuff happening in here. I like that. There isn't really there's no table of contents, okay? But they do reference that this is alphabetical order when it comes to the meanings of the cards. And it has some of the basics, acknowledgement, introduction, what an animal totem is, some really good basic stuff. And then preparing your cards for a reading. Now, in her, she does talk a bit about setting sacred space, lighting a candle, and different things along those lines. So if you have never done it before, there's some good guidelines here. And one difference here is that, two differences actually. She talks about contrary cards, which are basically reverse cards, and how you'd interact with them. And it's very short, just, when choosing a card upside down, it is called contrary, and it's sometimes a warning. You can look up the contrary statement in the guidebook under each animal's name for action suggestions. So that's great. And then there's one personal choice card, which is also known as a wild card, and there's a little bit of instruction on how to work with it. But one way is to allow your intuition and your knowledge of animals to guide you to animal that may not be in the deck, and to think about the actions and abilities of that animal and how it looks to help lend you, or lead you, should I say, to a meaning. So I think that's cool. And I like that it's not just a blank card, it's a scenic card with just a few key phrases to help you think about how to connect with a spirit animal or animal totem that may not be in the deck. Okay? So that's kind of cool. I like that. Like I said, basically, I like that it's not a blank card. I've always felt awkward about adding in my own art or trying to do some kind of scrapbooking with some other art to include it in the deck or something. I've always found that kind of awkward. They do include a few different readings. One is that power animal spread that's on the poster. There is a medicine wheel spread which is like a 5-card spread with the directions, and a pick 2 card spread and a 1-card spread. So the pick 2 card spread is actually kind of cool because it's showing a masculine and feminine way to deal with the situation, and it goes more in depth. Not very complicated at all, but just an active and a more emotional or mental way to deal with stuff in your life, and where you can get help with that. Okay, so I'm just going to show one other thing and we'll be done. I'm going to skip over to Cougar, and it has a second name. Not all of them do. This one's Cougar and Puma. Okay, and then this has a really nice gray, gradient black and white picture, a gray picture, and there is a key term on the card itself aside from the cougar, and then this one says assertive, and then there's some other key terms or areas to focus on within the book that you could connect with this. And then they talk about the cougar and how it can be how it can affect your life, how it can help you in your life, and how it can be a totem to you. And then the contrary is actually kind of written in the sense of questions and action things to do. So that's kind of cool. Like, I'll read you the first one. Have you been losing your temper and lashing out? If this is the case, you need time alone, basically. Okay. And then there's about, I noticed at least 3 offerings for each card when it comes to the contrary info. So this is good. I like this. I think this is a good setup. It's nice, bold. It's not a huge guidebook, but it's a good size. I like it. And I like that it isn't super glossy. That can be a little annoying in a book. I know it can help the book last longer depending on the cardstock, but yeah. So literally my first time handling the cards is without, ooh, that's really pretty. Yeah. Now, I didn't really like the way the backs of the other deck she did. I think it's called Enchanted or Mystic Empowerment cards. But this has a little bit of a similar, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it does have the circles that overlap going on there with like a space background, and then the different totem animals of the directions as the focus of the back, as I guess the label or the logo or what have you. Now, I do like a space galaxy kind of atmosphere trailing across. I don't mind the geometric shapes because they're not the only focus going on here. It's not it's not the only thing that you're seeing. And I like that nature is included with the animals here and the native kind of a native geometric shape. And I know that she's really big on geometry and number things. There's a bit of a blurb, or should I say a little bit about her at the back. And it does happen to mention that she's into engineering, and she's had a lot of training with shamanism and animal teachings and a couple other areas, and that's not nice info included in the deck, or in the guidebook, I should say. So I'm just going to flip through. I don't know if I'm going to flip through the whole thing. I usually end up flipping through a lot of it, but I'm just going to show. Now, some of the cards are a little harder to see because it's like a little busy. But in person, it's not so hard. It's just hard to see it in the thing. And this is like a low gloss. I know it's there, but it is technically a low gloss. And most of the other cards are a lot easier to see, except for this one, because it has this yellowish background when trying to do the black as the writing. And that's a hard to see. So it says be in community. And the cardstock actually, it's a little bendy, but it's also a little stiff too. I'm not saying it's bad cardstock. I'm just going to have to see how well it works with me. And these are large cards, but at least it's not too thick of a deck, so I can handle it. Bison. Oh, I think that's lovely. Abundance. We have, oh, I love this. I'd seen this picture before. I thought it was so gorgeous. One of the reasons why I really wanted this deck. Black Bear as guardian, and there are some I don't think they're affirmations necessarily. This one says, gentle and wise protector, give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love, awaken my intuition, and guide me. So I guess it is affirmations on the bottom there, but you could also think of them as starting points for actions and such. Um, and I'm usually not big on a lot of words on the bottom. I was even considering, like, can I trim that bottom? Can I leave just the bare name and then a meaning and get rid of all the other stuff? I don't know. I've gotten kind of used to working with my Oracle of the Unicorns and still leaving them there. I'll see how this goes. But as you can see, the coloring on this is a little better for being able to read the text in the font that they have on here, which I actually like the font. I also like that it may be not something that's that easy to read, because sometimes when you're doing a reading, this may be relevant, but maybe you're feeling something else from the pictures and doing a little bit more of an intuitive read. And I feel this lends to that. If they really want to know what it says, you can, position and try to get it so it's easier to read. But I really love her artwork. I feel like it's friendly for all ages. And here, like I said, you can see the text a lot better depending on the background and what's going on here. This is Black Jaguar, gorgeous. It says Old Soul. I love that. I love big cats. Okay, here's Butterfly and Rebirth. And I'm just going to flick through as fast as I can. Cat, oh, I was hoping. Cat Independent. I love that. There's a dog card in here. This one's Cougar and Assertive. And this is like an Indian sun depiction, I believe. I've seen something like that before. Coyote and Revealer of Truth. I like that. I like that the style of art she does here. Deer, and the key term is love. And I love the birds. The deer are gorgeous. I like the color saturation is really nice. Oh, here's the dogs. And it's Friend. Here's Dolphin and Play. Again, I really like the font. I like that they also adapted the color of the words so that you could see it through the thing. And most of them, it's good. There's just a couple, one or two cards that it's a little problematic. So this is Dragon and Supernatural. And this is one of the cards I had seen, pictures I had seen before, which I was really drawn to. Love dragon energy. Here's Dragonfly Magic. I believe this is on the cover of the box. Eagle Mastery. And my one thing I'm liking about this, there's only a slight shadowing as a border. It's not like a totally different bracketing thing going on here. It allows the artwork to be dominant without taking away from the art, which I think is nice. So Eagle and Mastery. And I'm finding that my camera is not having that hard of a time focusing. So I really am enjoying that as well. So this is Elephant and Greatness. I was really fond of elephants as a child, and my mom keeps thinking I am obsessed with them still. I like elephants, but I'm not as focused on them as I was as a kid. So elk ability. Again, I'm actually finding it pretty easy to handle these. They're not too slick. They're not falling out of my hands. I really appreciate that, especially with the larger deck that this is. This is Fox Clever. Oh, and look at those like carvings in the background. Native carvings. Spiral. So cool. So Clever. You are swift and smart. Solutions to problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. Resources surround you. Be open to romance. Ooh, it's lovely. Really like that. I like the sides of the cards. The big cards can be, for some people, a little bit of a hassle. I actually have gotten very used to. Ooh, frogs. Oh, that's so cute. I love the patterns on them and the colors she chose. So this is Prosperity. Let go of the past and embrace change. That's cool. So cool. I love the colors. Here is Giraffe and Visionary. Oh, so cool. There's a lot of personalities in some of these. Here's Goose and Inner Knowing. Whoop. The first time they slid out of my hand. Goose and Inner Knowing. So now this one's a little harder to read. In person, it's not. It's just how it's showing up on the screen. All right. Here is Grizzly Bear and Power. I like that. He's got like a fish. So he's salmon season fishing. Yeah. A little easier to read that one. Hawk Messenger. That Indian sun sign again. Heron Patience. I have a friend who goes by Heron. Let me think about her every time I say this card. So one of the sentences here says, take time alone to find balance. I like that. I think now see my hand. Starting to loose. I don't think it's really that slippery. I just think my hand's tired. I like the flower that's being shown. There is a kind of symbol thing going on in the front here that's kind of faded into the background. It's not really interfering with the read of the words. It's really well done. So I like this gradient effect. That's working for me on some of these. Here is Horse and Freedom. Oh, I like that. I really love her style. Oh, my mother would love this. This is Hummingbirds, and it says Miracles. And the gloss is not too high. I'm not getting a lot of problem with any high glossing. I mean, it's there, but it's so far I'm not having a hard time with it. I like it. Here is Humpback Whale Singer. Makes perfect sense to me. Look at that vivid moon. Looks like moon to me. Yeah. So cool. All right. Here is Ladybug and Good Luck. So nice. Here is a Lion and Higher Calling. Sorry, on my screen it's showing up reverse. I'm hoping when it shows up for you guys, it'll be the right direction. Here is Lizard Regeneration. Lovely. I do like those colors. I like the deserty feel. I like a variety in backgrounds. It's so cool. Here is the Loon. Oh, don't see them every day. Intuitive. I like that. I like that scene. Oh, the little babies. The baby birds. So cool. I love that. All right. Oh, this lynx. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. Keeper of Secrets makes sense. Lynx are they hide themselves a lot. You mostly come out at night. They don't like to be in crowded places, and they hide themselves a lot, so they definitely dwell where secrets are. Oh, Moose and Wisdom. So gorgeous. The details are lovely. I like the play and how the color and details and the way she does the different layers of color really come together. So Moose Wisdom. Orca Whale and Adventure. So the two different kinds of whales. With the humpback and the orca. Ooh, I had seen one picture of this one as well. I thought it was interesting. Wasn't so sure because I don't mind shapes. I just don't like them to be the dominant thing all the time, you know? Owl Magic. Choose to know the truth because you can is the first one on that list, but there's much more to work with there. I like it. Peacock and Vibrancy. I do. Oh, I love how my camera's really adjusting quickly for this deck, and I love that. So this is Penguins and Authentic. Interesting. I have fun studying this deck. I really like I think that's like the Borealis kind of look, but with more of a pink orangey tinge instead of the traditional green blue, almost iridescent look. I like the difference. Oh, here's the wild card. This is personal choice. So then this is the one that says, close your eyes. What animal do you imagine? What strengths are they known for? What wisdom do they share? Embrace these qualities. So then this is after you do sort of like a meditative stare at the card and walk through the questions, or as you do walk through the questions, you'll want to do a little notebook and write some notes on what you're feeling, what comes to your inner mind vision, or however you connect intuitively. So it's really cool. This is the wild card, and I like that it isn't just a blank card. It has a beautiful scenic nature scene, and then the directions for how to clue in to your personal choice or your personal totem that may not be in the deck. So this is, I loved how they did this, because I've had other decks where they just give you these blank cards and say, hey, you can put your own art in here or find an animal that you want to include. But that, I don't like putting in art that doesn't seem to mesh with what's already going on. If they already have a mixture of artists, then that's great. But I've never adapted those cards very well personally. It's a personal choice, I guess, or a personal thing. So here's Polar Bear. I think this is really beautiful. Mystic. And there's some cool, it's like some totem carving work mixed in with shapes. It kind of reminds me of those medicine wheels or the dream catchers. And then that carving piece in the center there. You see that? It's really cool. Sorry if my lighting isn't the best. Here we go. Ooh, pronghorn as action. Again, I really am enjoying how well this deck is just flowing with my camera, not having to adjust too much. But as you can see in this one, it is a little harder in a visual on the screen to see the words, but in person, it's fine. You can totally see it. And there's only light gloss, so you're not really seeing too much gloss in it. So these are puffins, and it says partnership. So that's cool. And again, these are sentences or phrases, action things or affirmation, different things to think about under the kind of meaning that the puffins cover. So it's kind of cool. Here are the raccoons. Oh yeah, this is so cute. Inventor. Now, I like decks like this because I feel, again, that this appeals to many different ages. I also can pull and use animal decks for anybody. So I can use them for men, women, children, teenagers, old people, young, I can have this at a booth event or a party and not have to worry about questionable illustrations. And maybe even symbols that might be off-putting to different people. Oh, and so inventor was the raccoon energy, by the way. I don't think I said that part. So here is Ram and Perseverance. I really like how focused and like really straight and I don't want to say fierce, but I just love how these guys are presenting themselves in this picture, how they were presented, I should say. And the flow of the waterfall in the background with the more rugged environment that they tend to live in. I think that's an awesome representation for them. So Ram and Perseverance, that's cool. It totally makes sense to me. Here is the Raven, and I can clearly tell those are ravens. Sometimes I cannot tell ravens from crows. So shaman, which makes sense. And the native people's ravens were definitely often connected with shamans, or at least spirit walkers and people connected to that kind of work. I do love the totems that they have in the background. That's awesome. Mountain range, such awesome coloration and detail work. It's lovely. A lot to work with there for readings. Oh, otter, one of my favorite animals, sea otter. And happiness is the key term. And there's a little puffin or two. Oh, it's so adorable. And there's our baby otters. Little baby otter there too. It's a family. So adorable. Oh, just love otter. Okay. Sea turtle, protection. And again, these are alphabetical only. There is no numbers on the cards. And there's no table of contents. So when you're going through the book, it's alphabetical. Here is one of my favorites, snow leopard, self-reliance. Truly one of my favorite. I love big cats. I truly do. And this is interesting because you have the main cat here, and then you have one in like about to be in action, almost in kind of a crouching formation. This one's more relaxed, and this one's in more about to take action position. So that's an interesting depiction. I like that. Self-reliance. Sweet. Oh, these guys are cute. Squirrel with some chickadees. Always prepared. Makes total sense to me. I like that. Always prepared. And again, on some of the cards, the words are going to be a lot easier to see than on other backgrounds. They've done a pretty good job overall, but there's just a few of them that aren't that easy. So swan and grace. Oh, so the animal swan, and then the meaning is grace. And for me, swans are usually like maybe romantic relationships, or for some reason meant to explore things in a life and part of a lifetime type thing. Other things as well, like music and heartfelt connections, not always romantic. So help me transform into elegance and grace. Also that kind of ugly duckling storyline going on there. So that's cool. Oh, I love that they include both a traditional tiger and then the white tiger. Lovely. And it's fire energy here. Let's see if these are the elements ones. Nope. That one just says fire. Choose to be unstoppable. Passion is my power. I am bold. Lovely. Cool. And then we have, oh, the unicorn. Infinite possibilities. And this is the piece that is depicted on the poster layout spread poster is this one here. So infinite possibilities. And the last two cards, white stag, protector, and white animals are usually considered spirit animals and guardians amongst a lot of native or shamanistic traditions. So awesome. So protector, I usually associate stags with protector or putting up a protective front, strength of some kind. Wolf pathfinder, that makes a lot of sense in an animal totem deck. So gorgeous stack. Love the artwork. I really feel I can work with this. I don't see a lot of busyness with some of the structure I had seen in the other deck. She did like the wheel meditation deck she did before. I had that, and like I said, I passed it on. I will end up doing the side shuffle with this one, or even, oh, that shuffled really well, actually. I didn't feel like I was going to bend it or anything. And then also you can do the hand over hand, you know, divide it up, kind of mix the cards up the best you can. I think I prefer the side shuffle with this one. It is a bit large. It's I would say this is one of my second largest decks. I have the Oracle, I have a Lunar Norman Oracle, which is a Lenormand / Oracle mix, and it's really big like this. So I'd have to try to get it to compare. Maybe I'll do that another time. But I really like this, and let's see what animal totem comes up. What message would you like to give everybody towards the end of the year here? Animals of the land, sea, and sky, Mother Earth, and Spirit. Here we go. Oh, infinite possibilities with the unicorn. Lovely. And I will go ahead and read what the other sentences on this card. It says, you are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Okay. Abandon the darkness and go beyond the ordinary and become legendary. I'm going to have to think about that darkness one, because I personally feel that the darkness can be healing and that there's a purpose for it. But I could see, like, if you had allowed darkness to totally overrun you in a negative way, maybe it's saying, you know, abandon, take a break from that darkness as much as you can. But other than that, I think there's a lot of positive sentences and affirmations and things to work with it here. And I feel that you would, what I do when there's multiple things like this, I read them and I see which ones I'm most pulled towards to. Usually there's only one I'm really pulled towards to, and it's relevant to the question or the situation I'm looking into. So right now I just feel that they're saying that this deck is going to be useful for so many different types of readings, and all the things coming into the new year is very, very open right now. Nothing's cut off. So if you have a negative framework going on, understand that the totem animals are going to help open up your energies and maybe even help you just realize how much more is available to you than you may be thinking at the moment. So I really like that. I love the colors in this card. It's just some of my favorite blends going on here. And I have a really good feeling that this is going to be a very positive deck, not just for me, but for those I may be reading for, and for you if you decide you want to go with this. Again, I'm just a lover of oracles and art, and the artists that I really love who help us with these tools and kind of like gateway tools that help us connect with our intuitive natures, and those guides and allies that are there to connect with us, who want us to live in balance and to help us through our whatever we have going on, basically, and help us to live a better life here on earth so that we benefit all. And I just feel that this is such a great, I'm glad that I finally said, yes, I'll get one more animal deck this year, because I feel very positive about this one. And right now I'm not feeling any hesitation over this deck at all. I had a lot of mixed feelings on the other ones I tried with her. And this time I'm feeling very positive, and I'm really like that it's a low gloss deck, almost matte. And I wish you all a very happy day. And I did get 2 other decks. Again, if you wanted, I should probably go and look over at that card for you in the book to see if there's any key terms that might connect with you. Here's the top where it has all the key terms that they also associate with the unicorn. This is on page 110. Oh, that's a good number. Or my friend would say 11. Her favorite number is 11. Or some people would say 2, but to me, I'd shorten it to 11. And yeah, I don't know that I want to read all the book. I think I need to take some more in and really take it in. But some of the key terms they have here is power, purity, protector, possibilities, enchantment, beauty, luck, travel, mysteries, magic, master of transformation, miracles, weather, and nature spirits. So I'm a big, big lover of working with nature spirits and weather work and things. I don't try to control the weather. I try to blend and harness the energy of the weather systems I'm living within. So I have a little bit of a different take. And if you want to explore any of those subjects, I would look up this really wonderful book called Weather Shamanism. Talks more about connecting consciousness with the weather systems and some other types of work, which I found very useful. So far, this deck gets 2, 3, or 4 thumbs up for me with this initial impressions, and I hope that you all liked it. And please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or feel free to ask me questions, and I will answer in the comments anything I can read within the book or whatever, how the deck is working with me as I'm using it into the new year. And yeah, I hope you like this. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great weekend. I have 2 other decks that I just got that I'm going to be working through the winter, and we'll do first impressions or open them up shortly. And yeah, goodbye. Thanks. Bye-bye.